So it turns out that it's really very healthy for little girls to find out what it is to be a girl before they find out what it is to be a boy. No? That makes sense? What is unique about the community is that it's built on and functions on a goal, an ideal, which is really universal. So it's not a religious goal, although it involves God, of course, because he gets involved in everything. So the idea of making the world a more godly place, because that was God's plan in the first place, that's what fuels this community. Making the world a more godly place is really everybody's mission. Because if the world is going to be a godly place, it has to involve the whole world. So although Jews have a unique responsibility with 613 commandments, that's just a different method of how we make the world a godly place, but every human being must contribute to the godliness of the world. That's why we're here, we meaning everybody. We exist because God wants his creation to be godly. His creation is us. So when we behave properly, when we do the right thing, when we make it more livable, safer, healthier, more satisfying to be alive, then we are fulfilling the purpose for which we exist. And that's true of everybody. So the reason this community is so open and welcoming is because we're all in the same boat. It's not like we are some different group doing different things and you can come watch. No, we're all doing the same thing. You want to know how we're doing it? I'll tell you how we're doing it. But you got to be doing it too. So, being in the same boat, of course you're welcome. Also, there's no tension. I think, oh, well, so what religion are you? Oh, well, we don't believe, we don't agree with that. There's none of that. It's beyond religion, it's beyond culture. It's the reason for which we exist. We were given a responsibility because we were there at Mount Sinai and heard what God wants. Now we have a responsibility to share that knowledge. But sharing the knowledge doesn't mean we're going to do it by ourselves. It means we can't do it by ourselves, otherwise we won't have to share the knowledge. So it unites the world in this global purpose, and it's not limited to any culture. Like in every culture, I'm sure, and in every society, there is a lot of closeness, which can be very pleasant and very painful. So family is family. You can't get away from it. You're stuck with it. So I was looking for a souvenir once during some travels. I went into a souvenir shop. And the only thing I found that was a little interesting was an embroidered pillow. It said on one side of the pillow, a couch pillow. It said on one side, "I'm smiling because you're my sister." On the other side it says, "And I'm laughing because there's nothing you can do about it." So I bought it for my sister, right? So family is like that. You love it, and you pay the price. Closeness is a wonderful thing, but it has to include difference. So if you're stuck with someone who is different, you got to be flexible. You got to be, you got to make room. But without family, we wouldn't be human. Extended family. If extended family was not important, our lives would be very small. And it doesn't just stop with family, blood relatives. Your community, your congregation, your city, not this city, but most cities. The wider your acceptance, the more human you become, even though it sometimes involves pain, because there's disagreement and there's different interests and demands. But if you can't put up with that, then you can't really live. So it makes you a bigger person. One of the big issues, I mean huge, is male and female identities. The community here, like every observant community, makes a very strong separation between men and women. And for many years, people questioned that. Is it sexist? Is it discrimination? But now we see how important that separation is. Because, the Fiddler on the Roof songs, everybody?
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. So there's a song that says, tradition is what keeps us going. Because the papa knows what a papa is, and the mama knows what a mama is, and the daughter knows what a daughter is, and the son knows what a son is. Today we don't know. In society today, we don't know. What's a man, what's a woman, what's a child, what's a parent? The definitions are gone. And the suffering that brings is dangerous. So in order for men to be healthy men and for women to be healthy women, there's got to be a clear definition. This message that children are getting in kindergarten, that there's no difference between men and women. How out of touch with reality can you get? How unhealthy. So now there's this pandemic of people uncomfortable with their gender. And it's tragic. So now we realize that the tradition is not so outlandish. It's true to life. It's real. It keeps you real. But like anything else, when you have an open society and an open community, everything finds its way in. Nobody is protected. So not only do we realize that the separation is healthy, we realize we got to make it even healthier. What is the role of women? There is no such thing. You can't give people roles unless you live in a dictatorship. Men were the hunters, right, in the olden days, and the women were the gatherers. Who made that rule? Who gave them their roles? Nobody gave it to them. Men were bigger and stronger, so they went and fought the dragons. And the women are the nurturers, so they nurtured. Nobody appointed roles. The difference between men and women is not something we decide. The difference is natural. And if you allow people to be natural, they will naturally find where they're strongest and where they're best. The trick is to not interfere with nature, because it's not nice to fool Mother Nature. So to actually strengthen the nature of men and the nature of women so that there can be family. If you don't know what a papa is, you don't become a papa. And if you don't know what a mama is, you don't become a mama. You become confused. And then what are the kids going to do? Be doubly confused. So it turns out that it's really very healthy for little girls to find out what it is to be a girl before they find out what it is to be a boy. No, that makes sense? So that's one of the issues that we need to talk about more, even in our community where there is a separation. Everybody knows that this world was created, right? It didn't always exist. There was a time when there was no world, and then there was a world. If the world did not always exist, then someone created it. Some people feel that it was created, but not by a someone, by a something, right? The scientists are saying the world was created by something, not by someone. Bottom line is, we all agree that there was a creator. The question is, a creator that thinks or a creator that just explodes? Just goes bang. So really the difference between science and religion, which shouldn't even exist, is the difference in what you think the creator is. A someone or a something. Makes a lot more sense that the creator is a someone, because it explains much more than the theory of evolution. Like, for example, why? There was a Big Bang, why? Like for an eternity there was no Big Bang, and all of a sudden there was a Big Bang. Why? There's never going to be an answer to that. So it makes more sense to say God wanted something, the Creator created the world because he wanted something. Why else does anybody do anything? You don't build a car if you don't want anything. You certainly don't build a universe if you don't want anything. So the real question in life, the ultimate question in life is, whoever created me, what does he want? That's called a conscience. People without a conscience are sociopaths. A human being has a conscience. And what does a conscience mean? It means I realize I'm in someone else's world. What am I supposed to do? Am I behaving correctly or incorrectly? That's a conscience. Anyone without that sense is an irresponsible, dangerous person. Anyone who doesn't ask, why am I here, is not thinking. So all human beings have always asked the question, why am I here? What is the purpose? How do you know there is a purpose? Everybody wants to know what the purpose is. Who says there's a purpose? Our conscience tells us that there's a purpose. And then we feel a little obligated to do whatever that purpose is. So we want to know. That's really what Judaism is. Not a religion, a purpose. God came down to Mount Sinai 3,300 years ago and said, let me tell you my purpose. That doesn't make you religious. That just makes you knowledgeable. Because everybody wants to know what the purpose is. Well, we found out. So Judaism was never meant to be a religion. It was never called a religion. You look through the entire Bible, the 5 books of Moses, the word religion doesn't exist. There was no word for it. When religions began, Christianity, Islam, others, now all of a sudden Judaism was, the other religion. No, we never were a religion. because a religion separates you from others. But what God said at Mount Sinai is universal. It doesn't separate us. It obligates us to deliver the message. What is God's purpose? What was he thinking when he created the world? Do we need to know this? Yeah, if you want to make sense of life. So we keep asking, why are we here? And then we shrug our shoulders and say, who knows? We'll never know. That's painful. So we start making up purposes, and then we end up having wars. Because my purpose, your purpose. What is God's purpose? Very, very romantically stated. There was just God. There was nothing else. The universe did not exist. If I was God, I would have kept it that way. I'm the only thing. Everything's fine. There's no conflict. There's no tensions. Great. What's wrong with that? Have the whole world to myself. For some godly reason, God was not satisfied with being exclusive. Only him. He said, no, this is not good. I don't want to be the only thing. I want to be the one thing, which includes everything. In Hebrew, there's a difference between Yachid and Echad. Yachid means exclusive. Echad means inclusive. So the one and only is a contradiction. One means that there's 2 and 3 and 4. You can't have number 1 and no other numbers. So one means united, one world instead of a splintered world. Only means no world, just me. So you don't want to be the one and only. You want to be one with the world. You don't want to be only. Because only is lonely. So why did God create the world? Because he doesn't want to be without anyone else. He wants to be with everyone else. So he wants the world united in him, rather than be exclusive and have no world at all. So in very simple language, God says it is not good to be alone. That's why he created the world, and that's why we're here. What are we here for? To be beside him. To have a will of our own, but choose him. That's called united. That's like a marriage. Man and woman, very different personalities, very different needs, but there for each other. United, not only despite their differences, but including their differences. So we're here to make the world a godly world, meaning our own will, our own choice, our own understanding, consistent with God. If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic, and you're looking for more information, or you want to hear it again from another angle, there is a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it. We have a Sunday night program for VIPs that you might be interested in. It's informal, it's questions and answers, it's conversation. It's really relaxed, it's really pleasant, enjoyable, informative, and kind of community-like. It's a Sunday night program. There's a Wednesday morning program for the VIPs, and there's a Wednesday night program. All of it just conversation, casual, laid back, unscripted. So join us. Take a look click the link below and see which of the three suits you best, and join us for some enjoyable conversation.